You are tuned to ARP on the Accelerated Radio Network. It's 12 noon, and it's time to have lunch. Lunch with the Finance Bunch. Lunch with the Finance Bunch. Lunch with the Finance Bunch. Bringing money talk you can understand. And now here's your host, Miss Charline.
Hi guys, this is Miss Charline, and I'm coming to you from a fashion show at LA Fashion Week with Kōcō Blaq. We are backstage and running and walking the red carpet. This is a wonderful time. Can't wait to tell you the rest and to interview Kōcō Blaq himself. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Miss Charline, and welcome again to Lunch with the Finance Bunch. Today, I actually am in the studio and home of Kōcō Blaq. Kōcō, how are you today?
I'm great, thank you so much. Thank you for having me on the show again.
Oh my goodness, are you kidding? Thank you for inviting me to your fashion show. It was so much fun. I'd never been to Fashion Week before, and so I didn't know, at least not here in California.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know what to expect, and it was such a wonderful, well-planned event.
Wow, thank you so much. Yeah, it was, I think we had all the craziness happen backstage, and we left all the beautiful kind of elegant stuff for the front of house. But yeah, it was definitely a fun event, so thank you for coming.
Definitely. Well, you gave me access to the whole, performance, like from the front to the back. I was able to go into the makeup room where everybody was getting their faces made up, and where the girls and guys were being dressed at and all that. And it was managed chaos. It wasn't like, crazy, unmanaged chaos. It was managed. And I wouldn't even call it chaos. I'd call it more just hustle and bustle to get everything done.
Yeah.
So I can tell you're a pro.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, it was a lot of fun. There's a lot of moving parts to a fashion show. So this is probably like my 5th or 6th fashion show. So yeah, I mean, it's always fun. It's the excitement and the craziness that kind of, comes through my blood when it happens. So
yeah.
It's good.
Now, so you spearheaded this venture, right? Were you one of the, because I saw that you were pretty much in control backstage and telling everybody what to do.
Yeah. So my show was at the 7 o'clock block, and I closed that block with Nono Sina, which was there, and they opened up my segment of the show, which was amazing.
That was amazing.
And, yeah, oh my gosh.
That was a showstopper.
Yeah.
I said, oh my goodness, how do you top this? And you did with your fashion. It was just like all succinct, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now, how did you decide what your theme would be this year? What was that process like?
I think my theme kind of went with the location that we were showing at. So we showed at the Beverly Hilton Hotel, and I wanted a little bit more of the Hollywood classic silhouettes. So you saw that with a lot of my silk chiffon dresses and the hair and the makeup, just everything just kind of came together. So the whole theme of my collection was Hollywood Tropics.
It was beautiful.
Thank you.
It was absolutely beautiful. And you're right, with the flowy, more chiffon dresses, it just gave it like a summery flow, beautiful. And the girls walking down, the runway, they were just flawless. You did such an excellent job. I was so entertained. And I kept bragging and saying I was invited by you as your guest. And it got me in a lot of doors. They were like, oh, you're Kōcō's guest? Yes, I am.
Yes.
So thank you.
Oh, no, of course, thank you for coming.
Yeah, and there were some notable people in your audience, so you do draw a very prestigious crowd.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure who all showed up, but I really couldn't see a lot of the people that I invited. But I did get a lot of, congratulatory comments from all. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then what did it take to pull all of that together? What would you say it would take to pull something like that together?
Oh man. Well, we had an amazing makeup team by April Love, who headed the whole glam. Her school and her teachers came and provided a lot of the hair and makeup for all of the models. And then FHI, which is like the hair brand and products, they provided their products and stuff for the models as well. But I mean, I don't know. It was just like there was a lot of people, and a lot of people that kind of came to my aid. My sister came and helped me with a lot of the costuming and the styling, and a really good friend of mine, Heather, who's a stylist as well, came backstage and helped with getting all the models ready and situated. Yeah.
Right, because you have to get not just the hair and makeup done, but once they have the outfit on, it's the jewelry, it's the whole look, that you've envisioned in your mind. So I'm sure you create like a vision board, or what is it called? Like a
mood board, a vision board. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is kind of similar to the board that I provided for the hair, the makeup, and also the styling. Like this is the look, this is the aesthetic that I'm going for, and I mean, I worked with a lot of people that know my vision and know exactly what I want, so it's pretty easy this round.
Right, so that makes your job a little easier. When people, I kind of do
a lot easier.
Oh, definitely. I do that too. With the radio show, I hire people, and then I kind of, we hang out together, we go eat together, we spend a lot of time together, so that they understand where I'm coming from, so that the image I project is the one I want to project. So that works in fashion, especially in fashion. I would think that the image you want, because it starts from head to toe, like it's a complete look.
Yeah.
Wow. So where'd you get your models from? Because they were beautiful.
So thank you. I would say a handful of them were modeled for me before, and then this fashion show I wanted to show dominantly like Polynesian models.
Yes.
So a few of them I found off Instagram, and a few of them replied to my model casting post. So it was cool to have a very Polynesian aesthetic with the collection for this season.
It made it beautiful, just completely beautiful. So who are some of your sponsors? Like, who are some of the people that sponsored your collaboration or helped to make it happen?
So a really amazing friend of mine, who's also my uncle, he's the one that created a lot of the tiki pieces and some of the stuff that you see on the models, and I used him in a few of my shows actually. So he is a jewelry maker, Augustani jewelry, and he's amazing. Makes things out of pearls, seashells, bones, carving. He's very, 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 very talented. So I collaborated with him, and also a good friend of mine, Sedona Glam Art, and a lot of the hand beaded jewelry that the girls are wearing is from her. So she's amazing talent that I've used her actually for about 1.5 years in a lot of my stuff. So she gets the whole aesthetic. She knows what I like and what I want, and she just kind of creates stuff and ships it to me, and I use it.
Wow. So now, what is the most stressful part of doing something like this? Because you were so cool and calm. Because quite frankly, when I got there, I was like, oh my God, he's probably backstage pulling his hair out. And you weren't. You came out. We kind of hung out for a minute. You sat at the bar. We talked, and I was like, he's got it all together. I was so impressed.
Yeah.
And then, you left, of course, because, you had to get started. But it just seemed like through the whole process of my observing you, you just seemed so calm. But so what was the most stressful part? You seem calm.
I think the stressful part happens the few days leading up to, with the making sure all of the outfits are finished and steamed and prepped, and the looks are there together. And my sister Malia, she really had a big part of like organizing and keeping everything kind of situated, so that when we showed up to the venue, I think 3 or 4 hours early.
Yes.
Because I wanted to make sure that I had my space, just very, very prepared, hitting up the models, making sure that they, arrive on a timely manner, and that we get them in hair and makeup and get them situated. So it was, I was kind of laid back, kind of like
because you had it all together.
Because I did before. Before.
So that's a really good point to bring up, is that you did all of the prep work. You did everything you needed to do to prepare for the day, so that the day of you were doing the follow-up. Just make sure you're here on time, make sure you're in hair and makeup by this time, that kind of thing.
The small little details, because if things didn't happen. Like I think we spent a few hours working on the music, and then also the image on the backdrop.
That was beautiful.
Oh, thank you. So yeah, so that was one of the things that kind of fell through was the image for the backdrop of the video. So we spent a few hours on that, kind of getting that situated for the fashion show and linking it with the music and making sure that it was. So yeah, and that was pretty much the only thing that I had to kind of work on.
Wow, well, the image was beautiful. I took a picture of it. It was absolutely beautiful. I'm going to use it as my screensaver. Seriously, it was beautiful.
Thanks.
You know, and just there were a few designers that, preceded you, that went before you, and then yours, of course, was the finale. And, I love the entire show. But when you showed up, you showed out. You really did. You showed up and showed out. From the backdrop to the drums to the dancers coming out.
That was all Tiana's idea.
Oh
She's like, we're gonna have the dancers follow you, and this is what you're gonna do. And I was just like, I'm like, all right, cool. So yeah, Tiana was like, she definitely orchestrated from the beginning of the show with her dancers and her drumming to the models coming out, and also to the finale walk with me coming out. So I mean, I give a mad props and love to Tiana for coming in last minute. I know she's super busy with a lot of things that she has going on, but she definitely, had a really big impact on the show.
Definitely. And so she has a dance school.
Yes.
Right? And her dance school, I think it's in Anaheim.
Anaheim, yeah.
Yeah, and she does absolutely wonderful work. I've been to her shows, and it's always done in such a quality way. I'm looking forward to interviewing her, actually.
Oh yeah,
so
definitely.
That's next.
She's great. She's amazing.
Yeah, so now everyone always wonders, what are the financial rewards from doing something like this? Because there's a show and then all these beautiful clothing and, so what comes from that? What is the financial reward from doing something like this?
Well, normally a fashion show back in the days was only for buyers, for boutiques and for people like that. Okay. So they would come in, they would see your collection for the upcoming season, and they would purchase whatever it is that they wanted for their stores, their boutiques, whatever. So that's how you would get your sales. You would kind of, schmooze and booze, the buyers to, so that they would buy your full collection. I think nowadays it's more of the hoopla and the flowery behind a fashion show to kind of get your name out there, press-wise, and also just content. Okay. But nowadays, not a lot of, buyers really come to fashion shows. But what transitions a fashion show into money is custom orders. So a lot of the celebrities would see, what you have on the runway, and you'd custom make it for them, and they would wear it to the red carpets.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, because earlier, I'm not going to say who, but you name dropped a few people who are very interested in some of your designs. So that's good.
Oh yes.
Yeah, some big names. So we'll see them on the red carpet.
Yes,
stuff, right?
Yes, we will.
And then when you get a sponsor involved, what does that mean? Like, what does the sponsor actually do?
A sponsor will provide either product or cash sponsor.
Okay.
Sometimes I would have cash sponsors, and also product sponsors. So if I show on a very big platform and it's a lot of press, a lot of media around it. So sponsors would buy in. They would jewelry, shoes, makeup.
Right.
Just kind of.
So that their name gets out there.
So their name gets out there and their product is seen on the runway, and then it's like tagged and reposted and blogged about and stuff like that.
So now, for you being the designer in this case, and people placing private orders. Now, I'm not very social media savvy, you know that. But so do you also allow your collection to be seen on social media?
Stuff out there. And people would, DM you or just, mention on your post, oh, I want this dress. how much is it? Then I'll have them send me an email, and then that's where we go for my custom orders and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, and I think it's a more efficient way of doing things too, because for buyers, they don't have to come across country to come to your show to see what you have. They can actually go to, you know, your Instagram account and just kind of click through and go, oh, I'll take 20 of those, I'll take 30 of those. And it makes it much more cost effective, right? And so do you actually have a store, or are you more online?
Everything right now is online.
That's so effective and so efficient. I love that. You know, we're noticing that brick and mortar is kind of going away. You know, the stores, the specialty shops, those kind of things are going away. So to have a strong online presence like you do is such a smart business move.
Yeah,
it really
definitely
is.
And there's no overhead, there's, you know, it's just like, there's a lot. So yeah, it's good, and we love it. I mean, it doesn't cost me that much to kind of have a website.
Right, exactly.
To house everything.
And then I get to come into your beautiful home and get to see some of the things that you do here. And like I said, when I walked in the door, your whole house is like an art gallery. It's like you've got themes going and just beautiful. I just see the beauty in the art, and it transcends not just in the clothing that you make, but even in your beautiful home and how, you know, you present your home. It's just beautiful.
Thank you. I feel that my line is pretty much my aesthetic of my whole life. You know what I mean? I always want to, when people see me walking down the street, I want them to just look. I want them to be like, oh, it looks like he's going on vacation, or he's on vacation.
Right.
Like, that's my whole. I'm just like such a free person, so just kind of like relaxed. I'm very colorful, as you can see, but
exactly. But you're right. You match your brand, definitely, and your home matches your brand. I feel like I'm on vacation.
Yep, Airbnb this place if you like.
So, what are the benefits that you've been able to reap from designing your own line of clothing? What would you say? What would be one of the benefits?
I think the main benefit for me is the creative outlet for myself. Working with my own hands and my own mind, my own creativity to kind of get out there what I have in here, rather than being hired on a project to being like, I want this, I want that, you know. So it's a good relief. It's a good outlet for myself.
Right, because you have complete creative control.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And then I noticed like a running theme, like you said, it's like, you know, let's get ready to go and festively have a good time on vacation, because your pieces are very upscale yet relaxed. They're not stuffy. You don't feel like you're restricted in them. You look like you're beautifully having a good time, right? And so how does that, I don't want to say how do you think of that, but how do you decide, like you probably have 1,000 images in your head. How do you narrow it down
Oh man, that's hard.
Is that the hard part?
Yeah, it is hard. Honestly, I don't even know how to narrow it down. From sketches to like image references, I mean, I just create, and whatever just kind of, I think what I do is I pull from whatever's finished or almost finished and put it together and try and see if it works together as a collection.
Right, because you definitely had a storyline in your collection. I could see that, you know. Is it hard to make the show so that the audience can see where you're coming from? Because I totally saw it.
I think it's subconsciously just kind of like being created that way.
Okay.
Yeah, because I always want a story with the collection, of course, it makes sense, but I think if you go back to see what I've created earlier and kind of see the transitions that I had from like collection to collection, you definitely see a story. Yeah.
So did you see yourself here 5 years ago?
No. I did, but not to this extent, I guess you would say.
Okay.
Because I feel that where we are today is where we wanted to see ourselves 3, 4, 5 years ago.
Okay.
So we create our space and we create our life and our environment that we're around. So yeah.
Yeah. So that leads into my next question, which is, did this event help to fund future events for you? So does it create some more sponsorships and things like that?
I think it creates a bit more of an outlet for me as a designer and a stylist, getting recognized a little bit more in the fashion world as a designer, and also transitioning into film, because that's eventually where I want to kind of jump back into this film and doing featured films and hopefully a period film. But yeah, just slowly but surely.
Oh, that's great. Now, that being said, you said like who chose the hotel that you used for the event?
Art Hearts Fashion. So Eric Rossetti, he chose the venue and booked it and gave us that platform.
Yeah, because it was a very nice hotel, and it was a perfect backdrop for what you created. Perfect, you know, because it was like kind of old Hollywood, when Hollywood was prestigious and everyone was dressed beautifully and they showed up at events and it looked like they cared about being there, you know? Right? So it all fit right into the theme. So as I was watching, you know, everything unfold, those were the questions that came to mind. Were like, wow, who picked the hotel? Who decides on, you know, what, you know, lines are shown? You know, and who does decide that? Who decides?
Eric does, yeah. Eric does, yeah. It's his platform, it's his brand, it's everything that he's created.
Nice. So it's an honor to be chosen to be a part of that. Amazing.
Definitely blessed.
What's next? Can we get some 411 on what to expect in 2017?
Wow. Oh my gosh. There's a whole lot.
Anything you can talk about, Kōcō. I mean.
I definitely. Wow. I guess we're just gonna have to see.
Okay, I like
this it. This is an excuse for me to get back on your show.
No excuse needed. Look, I want you back as often as you have time. You can stop by any time.
Perfect.
We'll interrupt what's going on and find out what's going on with you. Now, what are the emotional rewards? What was the motivation to be so involved in the show? Because you were hands-on involved in the show. What is the reward for doing that?
Personal satisfaction, you know, just like it's like giving yourself a pat on the back. You know what I mean? It feels really, really good, and it's a way to kind of reward myself. Just walking down that runway and just being like, oh gosh, all that craziness that happened the past 2 months of, you know, designing and sketching and creating the collection is finally here. You know, it's like, it's self-rewarding,
Yeah, because you got a standing ovation.
Oh yeah,
you got a standing ovation. And when it happened, I was like, oh my goodness, I hope he gets just 1 second to take all of that in. Like, you created that. And I had watched the prior shows, you know, that led up to yours. And, you know, it was, like I said, they were all very nice, very nicely done. But yours got a standing ovation. And for me, I was like almost in tears, because I was just like, oh my God. That's like the ultimate, when people actually stand to their feet in praise of what you do. So what does that feel like? Did you get that moment?
I did, and it was like it was like slow motion for me. It was just like, I just panned the audience and I saw a bunch of my friends and my family and people I didn't even know just stand up, and I was like, oh wow. And at that moment, yes, I did take it in.
Good, because that's very important. And I think that the hard work that you do and the collaborating and getting things from your mind to the paper to, them actually being, a form and then a body that wears this form, and then that art that you've created to be appreciated in that way is amazing. So I was hoping, I was like, oh my God, I hope he has a moment to just stop and take this in. And I think no matter what line of work we're in, that, there are those moments. And I don't think that people stop long enough to just stop and just take it in. And I'm glad you had an opportunity to do that, because it was awesome. I was like, I felt like a proud mom.
I loved it. Oh, thank you so much.
What is most important to you when you develop your line? What would you say is the most important thing?
The most important thing, I would probably say to make the collection better than the previous.
Okay. Can I tell you what was important for me?
Yes.
That I could see myself in some of the things that you designed.
Oh yeah.
And so, and I was telling you a little bit about that before we came on, is that you have, so many things that no matter what size woman, they can see themselves in something in your collection. Mm-hmm. And that in and of itself is a feat. Because, a lot of times collections just don't include sizes past 6.
Yeah.
And your line does. Like, there's so many pieces that you have, and I was pointing out, I was like, I want one of those, and I want one of those, and I want that in every color, and you can see how you can make it work for no matter what size you are. So thank you.
Oh my gosh. Of course,
thank you. Because I've been every size, on a scale, and so, when I was a size 4, it didn't matter. When I was a size 6, it didn't matter. When you get to size 12 and 14, it starts to matter. Like the amount of things you have to choose from narrows. So you got to get real creative. But I want to thank you for creating a line where no matter what size you are, whether you're a 2, which is fine, or you're size 12 or 16, which is fine, you can see yourself in your pieces.
Yeah, and then that's one thing that I definitely wanted, that I kept conscious, is that creating a line that caters to a lot of different silhouettes, and it's important.
Yeah,
it's very important.
Yeah, I liked it. There's a bunch of stuff we're gonna talk about later. So, what did you want your audience to take away from the event?
A little bit of culture.
We got a whole lot of culture.
And a little bit of history. I mean, because
a whole lot of pizzazz.
Exactly.
Because we got a lot of pizzazz.
The funny thing, before my segment started, when they announced, please give us a little bit of time for Kōcō Blaq show to set up.
Yes.
My friend said to me, what she meant to say, please hold up because we're about to set up the Super Bowl.
Right.
And I was just like, you're so funny. But pretty much with my shows, it's an experience. And it's not just clothes, it's culture, it's history, it's an experience. And that's what I want to always take people on, an adventure of the expression of my culture.
Yes.
And there's a lot of pieces that I used from the islands, a lot of the fabric, the materials, things that were made back in the islands that I incorporated in my shows. Because I wanted to have a little bit more of the culture in this collection.
And you succeeded.
Thank you.
And the pause that we took for them to set up for your show, it just was like the way it's supposed to be done when it's going to be a grand finale. Like, you need to take a moment, and focus, because what you're about to see is going to just blow your mind. So you need to be ready for it, and it was a quick moment, a quick moment. And then, your backdrop went up and we were like, ooh, it was so like sharp and the picture was beautiful. And when those dancers came out, I was like, that's my friend, Kōcō. Invited by him. I told the guy next to me, see,
I
he's
love
doing
it.
it right.
I love it.
But no, seriously, it was just beautifully done. It was just like a full show. So everyone watching, you cannot miss Kōcō Blaq's show next year, right? I mean, if you can get invited. I don't know what that process is like, but if you can get on the guest list, you need to be there.
Oh, wow.
Because it's a moment in time that you don't want for gracing us with that type of art. It's just beautiful.
Thank you.
And one more question. What do you feel your brand represents?
My brand represents life. It represents love. It represents culture. It represents freedom. It represents and encompasses the new generation of Polynesia.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, when you were saying that, I was like checking off. Yes, definitely, I agree. So you've already promised to come back on the show again, and I absolutely love having you as a guest. I thank you for inviting me into your home. I feel so privileged. I'm surrounded by art and beauty. It's just everything
And a little bit
here.
of chaos.
No chaos.
Tucked away in some
It's
corners.
Just, okay, well I can't see it. It's just art and just beauty everywhere. Yeah. So thank you again for inviting me into your home. As always, I love being around you. I think you're a wonderful human being, and I'm glad to share the planet with you.
Oh my gosh! Thank you so much for having me again.
Thank you. And that's it. You can find us on Instagram, Lunch with the Finance Bunch. You can watch us on YouTube. That's where this will be. You'll see this. And we also have Twitter and a little bit of everything. Websites, Lunch with the Finance Bunch. You can find us just about everywhere, including just Googling my name. Here I am. So thank you again. And let us know where we'll be able to see and follow you.
On Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and all of that at Kōcō Blaq, KOCO BLAQ.
Thank you, Kōcō.
Thank you.